Hello and welcome to the AU Survival Guide. In this series I will be showing you all the aspects of AU and how to beat each animatronic that comes your way. In this episode I will be going through the basics of the game and the menus. I'll start off with the map. On the map you will see blue question marks. These symbols are the random encounters and can be any animatronic from a list based entirely upon your maximum streak, which I will show on the screen now. On the map will also be Lord animatronics, Scent animatronics, and Salvaging animatronics, which each show up as their plush suit icon along with an icon above them showing which they are. There is a magnet icon for Lord animatronics, an icon with two circles for Scent animatronics, and a part icon for Salvaging animatronics, which are all shown on screen now. Next I will be showing the shop menu. This is where you can buy many items. These items will include Lures, profile icons, mini packs, and various devices. The first thing I will talk about is the banner at the top of this screen. Normally it would play the Freddy nose boop sound when you click or tap his nose. The next section is the featured offers, featuring 3 items to buy. The first item you can buy is an endo slot for the workshop, costing 700 Faz coins. This will give you an extra endo slot, 3 Freddy Fazbear lures, and 3 spare batteries. The second item is the classic home invasion, costing 700 Faz coins, which gives you 1 lure for 5 different animatronics, those being Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Balloon Boy. The final item in this section is the random lure, costing 450 Faz coins. This lure can be any plush suit and CPU combination in the game, excluding any combination with a locked CPU that isn't with its plush suit or skins. The next section is the Faz coins section. This is where you can buy Faz coins for Robux, but this is not the only way that you can obtain the Faz coins. Then there is the devices section. This is where you can buy extra batteries costing either 100 Faz coins or 500 parts, which restore your battery to 100% when it gets below 10%, and transponders costing 90 parts, which reveal one of the animatronics hidden by the blue question marks. This section is the special items. This will usually be empty, but will have differing items in it whenever an event happens or anything new gets added. The items that appear here can be lures, mini-packs, profile icons, and other stuff that can be added in the future. This next section is the mini-pack section. This section will present you with mini-packs of the street characters, which each include the character's plush suit and 3 lures for the character. This section is the profile icons section. This is where the permanent store icons are, currently only being a various assortment of 3D icons. This final section is for the lures. This section is where the lures for the street characters will be. After the shop, I will be briefly going through the mail. This is where all the in-game mail gets sent. All of these mails are tagged under different tags, which you can sort through using the sort by button. There are changelog, story, notification, Fazbear, and all sorting. Changelog is where the changelogs for the game used to be sent before just being sent to the game's official Discord server. The story tag is where the story mail gets sorted. The story mail has mainly been used for teasing upcoming characters and their events. The notification tag is where you will mainly get successful attack notifications, indicating when you've successfully beaten someone through sends and showing what your reward was for beating the person. The Fazbear tag is where the information mail gets sent, giving you brief information about differing subjects. Finally, there is the all tag. This shows all the mail that you received regardless of their tags. Next there is the workshop. Here you have a maximum of 9 endo slots, 6 of which you can gain from increasing your max streak, and 3 of which you can buy. Each endo slot unlocks after every 5 max streak, except for the first, which unlocks at 1 max streak. The last 3 you have to get from using Faz coins to buy them. One of them is from the shop, and the other 2 are 1,000 Faz coin purchases directly from the workshop. With each endo slot you can deploy them out into the world, either choosing send to send them to other players in the server, or yourself, or choosing salvage for them to go out for a designated amount of time and return with rewards that can either be parts, remnant, Faz coins, mods, or plush suits of the street characters. There is also assembling. Here you can choose to equip your endo slot with any plush suits or skins you obtain through this menu, or CPUs through this menu. You can also infuse remnant into your endo slots by clicking on this button and typing in the amount of remnant you want to add, and then pressing the add button. Finally, there are the mods. These modify how your endo slot works when either out salvaging or hunting down a player. I will explain more about these mods in a later video. Certain CPUs are locked behind the certain plush suits or skins for the CPU. For example, Nightmare Foxy's CPU is locked to his plush suit and his skin. Finally, there is the remnant menu, which I will delve further into detail about in a later video. In this you can enter one of the 3 FNAF locations to collect remnant. The final menus are the profile menu and the settings menu. In the profile menu, you can edit your profile icon to whatever icons you have obtained. This is also where some of your stats are shown. The last part of the profile menu is the leaderboards. Here you can see the top players and their max streaks, and if you try hard enough, maybe you can even get onto this leaderboard. Finally, there is the settings. Here you can turn different things on and off depending on your preferences. The settings that you can turn on and off are whether you see the keybinds, colorblind mode, which changes the haywire colors into shapes, whether people can send you animatronics, and there are even some other settings based on events like snow for winter and spiders for Halloween. Finally, you can change the keybinds around to your liking. Now onto the basics. In an encounter, there are a few things that will usually stay the same. These are the animatronic circling you, haywiring, glimpses, heavy static, and charges, both fake and real. When an animatronic circles you, their footsteps and static, if they have static, will move as they move. Their footsteps are directional, so if you have analog headphones or speakers, you will be able to hear them move around. Here is an example of circling. Animatronics have a chance to haywire. When this happens, they will appear and begin twitching about. Their eyes will also glow a colour, or show a shape if you have colorblind mode on, and depending on this colour, you will have to act accordingly, with a few exceptions. Here is an example of a haywire. A glimpse is when the animatronic will briefly show themselves and then disappear without doing anything. Here is an example of a glimpse. Heavy static can sometimes fill your screen. Repeatedly press Q, or whichever relevant keybind you set it to make this static disappear. The static will sometimes change to be something else for certain animatronics. Here is an example of heavy static. Finally, an animatronic will sometimes charge at you. This has 2 types, a fake charge and a real charge. A fake charge is when an animatronic will charge at you but not decode. Here is an example of a fake charge. A real charge is when an animatronic charges at you and decodes. When this happens, you will want to shock the animatronic by pressing E or your relevant keybind to defeat them. It may not defeat all animatronics with one shock. Here is an example of a real charge. That is all for the basics and menus. In the next episode, I will be going over remnant collection and remnant animatronics.